to all of you for being here and sharing your testimony with us. Mr. Criken, thank you for your willingness to advocate in support of much needed water and wastewater infrastructure resources for local government. I served in local government for many years, so I really appreciate you more than ever today. In your testimony, you mentioned Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey and hurricanes in Houston, Florida, and Puerto Rico. You use these examples as evidence of how ill-equipped our existing water infrastructure is to deal with these extreme events in climate change. I represent the Central Coast of California. Last winter, our region experienced a devastating wildfire season, followed by a very, very heavy rainfall event, which triggered a deadly debris flow that claimed the lives of 23 of my constituents and ruptured the main water line in Montecito. This left many in my community stranded and without access to clean drinking water for days. Based on your experience in local government, what are the pros and cons of creating a dedicated federal program to help communities strengthen the resiliency of their water and wastewater infrastructure against these threats, one, and two, what are the challenges that local governments experience in trying to fund some of these water resiliency projects?
Thank you, Congressman. I mean, for the first question, it's an absolute must. I mean, we've already seen, I know there's a difference of opinion between whether climate change is real or not. Set that aside, climate history has shown that our infrastructure, as it is now, is wholly inadequate for how the climate is now. So we must build resiliency. And then there is quite a bit of body of science that shows that the climate will only worsen and that problem will only be exacerbated. So I think it's critical to have resiliency funding for vulnerable communities, both in arid communities or in areas where there's too much water. And I couldn't support that more and hope that the Congress will support that. In the meantime, we must look for opportunities. If you're in an area where there's too much water, like in the east, where we have flooding issues, or in Puerto Rico or Florida, Houston, we need to upgrade our infrastructure. We need to expand it. We need to build for rising river level issues. Green infrastructure is very important, and that should be funded. Our state does fund it, but not all states do. They fund it through the SRF to soak up the stormwater. In arid states, there are measures that need to be taken as well. I mean, I think that we're doing the future of our country and our children and grandchildren a disservice if we don't plan for this now and try to fund to protect the vulnerable communities in our country.
Thank you so much. I yield back.